Hey everybody, welcome to Camel Chat. I'm John McPherson, and I am with that blonde girl, Vicki. So, of course, you know, before this all started, Vicki, I had to ask you in the hallway, what, you can't change the color of your hair now.
No, I can't. So I thought about it, and I was like, I really want to dye my hair pink, but I can't because...
I think you could do that.
I mean, but then the name doesn't work. So the name is so that people who don't know who I am can still vaguely speak about my art, and they'll inadvertently say the name of the company. You know, they'll say, oh, you know, that blonde girl, Vicki.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant. So Vikki Vassar is here, and she is an artist in and around Winston-Salem, and we're going to talk about all the different cool things that you do. You know, I don't know if you saw, we interviewed Graham Bennett about the Shell station and stuff like that, so I know you've drawn the Shell station.
Yes.
And we learned more about how many of those were, and the crazy thing of the Bennetts are the ones that designed that, and they own that Shell station kind of plan and everything.
It's fantastic.
It's phenomenal. And so we're going to talk about your involvement and love of Winston-Salem. Stabler has a whole file of all these pictures of art that you were so awesome to share with us, so we'll put those up and maybe show some of those through our breaks.
Sure.
And then learn more about why you, how you got into things and all that stuff.
Okay.
But you know what I got to do first is ask you some questions.
Okay.
So where are you from, and how long have you been in Winston-Salem?
So I am originally from Michigan.
Really?
Close to Ann Arbor.
Okay.
A little tiny place called Tecumseh, but that's like the second half of my childhood. The first half of my childhood's from the UP.
Okay.
The upper part of Michigan.
Yeah.
So I am.
So you're an Ooper?
I am a Youper.
A Youper?
I'm
Okay,
a Youper.
You'll have to understand, I don't know that term because I'm a Detroiter.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I get it.
I'm 24 Mile Road.
So when the Packers and Lions are playing, you and I are going to have a fight.
Well, it's even scarier than that if you really want to have some fun with it.
Really?
So, oh yeah. So, well, but I digress all the time. So I am a Lions fan.
Okay.
But I also am a Packers stockholder.
Okay.
When the Pack redid the and put an opportunity out to buy stock in the team.
Yeah, the share package that came out a couple of years ago.
Yep, I bought the one before that one.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm
Awesome.
I'm a shareholder, and I'm also a season ticket holder to the Panthers.
Well, there we go.
I can't make up my mind.
It's okay.
But so you're
you
an
can
Ooper.
support everybody. Yeah.
Okay, all right. I've got several friends that are from that area.
Okay.
I actually have traveled the whole hand of Michigan one summer with a buddy of mine.
That is a very long trip.
It didn't take that long. But we went to Sheboygan. There was a fire in downtown Sheboygan, and we actually had video cameras and videotaped it. And I got, you know, that's something we need to put on the wall here. My accommodation from the Michigan State Police Department for securing the safety of the citizens of Sheboygan, Michigan.
Awesome.
Yeah, I was under something. I'd had something that made me, but I'm not going to say it. And the state highway patrolman goes, "Can you just make sure people don't come this way?" And I'm like, "Oh, absolutely." So, all right. So you're from Michigan. Mm-hmm. All right.
I am. I moved down here probably 14 years ago.
Okay. What brought you down here?
Jobs.
Okay.
Because, you know, the auto industry completely collapsed, which caused a full trickle-down effect. And I had just gotten through college, and it was really hard to get your foot in the door anywhere because of the trickle-down. So I was like, well, North Carolina looks like it has some jobs. So came down here, made a go of it, and got immediately comfortable with Winston because it reminded me so much of Ann Arbor. Mm-hmm. So that's how I ended up kind of hanging in Winston mostly.
Okay, interesting to hear. I love like documentaries and stuff, and I went back and watched Michael Moore's documentary on the guy that closed down basically Flint, Michigan. It's like what my pal Mike or what I forget what the name of the movie was, but it's amazing how much that impact of this close increase, this close increase, this close increase, this close.
Oh yeah.
And it was horrible.
Yeah.
And they're still, you know, reeling from that stuff.
They are. Yeah. They absolutely are. You know, the economy in Detroit. I've got a friend in Detroit who's been selling, or he was in Detroit. He's moved to Copper Country now. So he's in the very tip of the UP. But he was selling inch squares of real estate in Detroit, and then he got to where he was with the community of Detroit trying to help people keep their houses when the economy collapsed so badly in Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
So he's really cool. His company was called Loveland. I think he's still got it, and I think he's still running it. But it was just awesome to watch him do that, and just the trickle-down effect of, like you said, the auto industry just collapsing.
Oh, there was a period of time where people were buying 10, 12 houses for $1.
Yeah.
Yeah, on a block.
Yeah, and people were still living there. It was, I think Detroit's gotten a little gentrified now at this point, unfortunately. But he helped as many people as he could. So
now when you come down here, you're in Winston. What are you doing down here then? What job-wise or?
So I got a job running. Well, I was supposed to be working for, but I ended up running the Salem College bookstore for about 11 years.
All right.
And I quit that in 2018.
Okay.
No, 2019, because it wasn't much longer after that we ended up in the pandemic.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of, that was a readjustment,
Right.
you know, like all of a sudden I'm home. I have 3 children home. I'm trying to figure out what we're doing, you know, and how online schooling is going to work for these kids, because I'd always done online college courses, so I was familiar with, you know, the softwares they were trying to use, Canvas and all that other thing. Had to readjust everything, refigure everything, and after several months of that, I started to get bored. I'm like, I got to do something. And I crack out my sketchbook and I just start, you know, doodling whatever I feel. And it's rough going at first because I haven't done this for years. The most doodling I ever did was on the corners of POs at the bookstore, you know. I'd be on the phone, be a really long wait time, and I'd just start doodling whatever. So I got into that, and then I started branching out into drawing things around me, which was a lot of Winston.
Right, yeah, and that's kind of the Safe Bus Company. That's a real cool story about how that all came about with you and learning about things, and then the historical side of it. So not only are you an observer, then you also are a learner.
Yeah.
And so that's cool to share, and we'll get to that in a minute. So we've got you down to Winston. So if you're going to go out to dinner, what's your favorite place to eat? And it can be a multiple answer.
Yeah, it's definitely a multiple thing. I like Mojito. I think they're fantastic.
Yeah.
I love Finnegan's when I'm on Trade Street. So,
Right.
you know, them not being open for a few months was kind of soul crushing, but they're going to reopen soon. That's amazing. And we just had brunch this morning at Penny Path Cafe in Reynolda Village.
Right.
So I've known the guy who runs that, Miro Buzov, for years, since he opened the first one in High Point. And it's just nice to be able to consistently return to a restaurant that's familiar. Like I was telling my son earlier, he's 16 now. I said, you know, I've got a picture of Miro holding you behind the crepe counter. He's got you in his left arm and he's spreading a crepe with the other arm. And, you know, it's really cool to have community ties like that with people.
Right. Yeah. So the building that he's in there, a girl I went to high school with owned the restaurant in there before that.
What was the restaurant before that? I can't remember.
I do not remember the name of the restaurant before that, but her name was Michelle. She's since passed away, but she had a restaurant in there. So I had gone by there a couple times, and then now we've been into the crepe place a couple times too.
Yeah.
We just have so many good places to eat. It's hard
We
to.
do.
Yeah.
We do. And I think we're really blessed and also a little fatter for it, but that's okay.
Hey, be nice now. That's why I sit at the table.
Pandemic.
Yep. So, all right. So then, what do you like to do around this area?
Honestly, pretty much anything. Like, it's so easy to
How old are your kids?
16, 12, and 10.
Okay.
So it's real easy to just say, hey, let's go to the art park. And then, you know, from the art park, there's Reboot right there. I can take the kids to the arcade. They love to go to Major Tom's and wander around and look at the cool artsy stuff that Holly has brought in there. We just love that area downtown. We love to hang out down there. We hang, my husband and I do, at the Silver Moon sometimes, or we'll go over to Fair Witness. there's a lot to do in
You
town.
guys are an anomaly, though, because, I mean, with those age groups, it's getting them outside is a chore, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. It is. They'll be in the house. They'll be rough housing in the house, and I'll say, "Hey, take it outside," and they'll be like, "But," and I'm like, I didn't say stop. I just said take it outside."
So Stabler's brother's in town, and our next door neighbor has not seen him yet. He's been here like a month.
Oh man.
Yeah, he's home from college. I guess he's taking classes and stuff, but it's now the street joke of he really doesn't exist. So, but
Could
yeah.
you send him a Zoom meeting invite?
Yeah,
Would
that's
he
what
show up?
you guys should do, a Zoom meeting so you can meet the new next door neighbor. So now, all right, you know, we talked about this before the show started. So this goes back to when you were, a child. Your grandma gave you a book and you just started kind of drawing back and forth, and you were telling me about the fact that how this all got started with you kind of doodling.
Yeah, so, my grandma and my mom have always been very encouraging when it comes to art and craft projects and just things. Like, anytime I sat there and I'm like, I don't know how to do this. I don't understand. They'd be like, "Oh, it's easy." And they would simplify it down to the bare bones to where I could get it, and then I could get the more complicated aspects of it. They wouldn't let me sit there and go, "Oh, it's too hard. I don't want to do it." They always simplified it, encouraged me, whatever. And then I went to Tecumseh High School, and they have a fantastic arts program run by a man named Ron Frenzen. And that is where I really refined a lot of things that I was doing. There were a lot of opportunities at that high school, honestly. Like, looking back, I'm kind of flabbergasted at how much I did, because I ran the school store. I was head of yearbook. I was head of the newspaper. I had all these arts classes. I could wander into the ceramics. We had a ceramic studio, a dark room. We had so many things, and I could wander into any of those places at any point and just pick up and start doing something.
It's like you were in college.
Yeah, it was
I mean,
like being in college.
You learn more in college with your extracurricular activities than you do in the classroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question about that for me. And so you were able to do that in high school.
Yeah.
And now what was the name of your high school?
Tecumseh High School.
Is that the chief?
We're the Indians, and I wish they
Right,
would
no,
change it.
but it wasn't.
Yes, Tecumseh the chief.
And you
The
know
Native American
that
chief.
they did a movie on him.
I'm not familiar that there's a movie.
And do you know where they filmed it?
No.
In Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Really?
I was in it.
Wow.
Yeah, I was a dead body. I'd been scalped.
I love that.
Yeah, but no, so that's, when you're saying that, it's, I'm like, I wonder if she knows this. So there was a, like an A&E or a History Channel or something movie. It was filmed, it was over at the fairgrounds. They've got the, what is it, the cabin over there in the fairgrounds near the education building and stuff like that?
Yeah.
They filmed it right in there.
Oh.
Yeah, part of it was filmed here.
Well, how about that?
Yeah, so there's your tie-in there. That's another kind of weird one.
That's cool.
Yeah, so now you start doodling, but then when do you actually get into where you're, the art that you're doing now? Do you do that after you're at Salem, or are you kind of side doing this, just kind of?
So that was after I left Salem. This art, the stickers and the prints and this whole collection that I'm amassing is a pandemic baby for me.
Are you serious? I thought that you'd been doing this for years.
No, it's a pandemic baby.
Really? That is so cool.
I have a strong retail background,
Right.
with running my own store. So I am employing that with my art to kind of mesh it into this monster that I've created.
Okay. Well, I mean, and this is what I want to learn about, because I think the thing that impresses me the most about your art is that it's from the observation of our town, and you're finding those things around here that the average person may just walk right by, and you're also doing other things too, obviously, but that's the stuff that, we found each other because of Instagram.
Yeah.
And so I want to get into that, but we're going to take a quick break if that's cool with you.
Sure.
So Stabler's going to start to show some of your pictures as we take a break. We'll be right back with more Camel City Chat. Welcome back, everybody, to Camel City Chat. I'm John McPherson. I'm here with Vikki Vassar, and we're talking about Vicki's that. By the way, she's That Blonde Girl Vikki, and you're on Instagram as That Blonde Girl Vikki,
and Facebook.
And we're talking about her art. And one of the things that I really love about her art is it's Winston-Salem. So that's kind of why we do Camel City Chat. So what I wanted to ask you about is you'd mentioned earlier the art park, and the art park has a significance in your life because obviously you like art, but also when you're standing there and looking around Winston, you see how I tied that all together?
Yeah.
You're standing looking around Winston. I'm the loser of all segues, and you decide, hey, this is a pretty view. And then so tell me, you're at a live paint where?
So I was doing a live paint, I think in 2018, like early spring, at Winston Junction Market when they first opened. Somebody got a hold of me. I think it may have been through my friend Jeff Beck. Who's another muralist in town. I say another like I do murals. I don't. I have not started doing that.
Another artist in town.
Another artist
There
in
you go.
town. There we go. And he invited me to come do it. So it was Jeff, myself, and Dump Truck Jr., and we were doing live painting. We were the 3 live painting artists. And I had this massive canvas and no idea what to do. I ended up doing this view, and I have a sticker of it. It's the coffee pot on the left, but then it's a view of downtown from the art park. And I've kind of transposed some of the things in town to appear where they wouldn't normally appear, like the smokestacks. They're in that piece, but I've moved them to the left of the Wachovia Tower. It's the Wells Fargo building now, I guess, but they're also moving out of there, so I don't know who owns that building now. The big building in town.
So you're talking about the that building.
Yeah.
We can. So I'll give you. Okay. So the green building, I call that the cologne bottle because it looks like a cologne bottle.
That
right?
makes sense.
Then you have the thing that could be many, many, many things.
It's a rosebud. Haven't we been told that it's a rosebud?
The top thing?
Yeah.
No, it's very phallic looking, is what a lot of people tell me.
We call it the phallus palace.
Yeah, the phallus palace. Yeah, no, I'll tell you one off air that you'll like even.
Okay, great.
All right, then now the old Winston Tower, which is the square building, is now the Truliant Tower.
Really?
Yes, that's coming.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so they're going to put we're going to interview the President Truliant here in a few weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, so Todd will be on the show, but that's the Truliant Tower, so we're excited. That's a new thing downtown. I don't remember seeing this sticker. I remember seeing because you use this image in different things, but is the Factory Lofts? Have you got the water tower over there on that or any of that stuff?
The water tower is not on that particular piece. I'll have to make sure you get a copy of what I'm talking about. But
I can look it up on my phone after all these things you've sent me.
Yeah.
So we'll look at it during the break. But yeah, no, I mean, so that's how you did it. You just started off with...
Yeah. A woman
But if you weren't painting a lot, then why did they call you to do a live paint?
Maybe because Jeff and I are old friends and
Okay.
he knew I could do it. Even though I wasn't
How weird is
actively
that?
involved doing it. Well,
Right.
I mean, he knows what I can do.
Yeah.
And then the particular view that I really used is from kind of Stuart Knight's office in Red Dog Gallery. I
Okay.
had to go up there to visit him for something. We're old friends too. And I took a picture from the balcony looking down, and it's just this fantastic view. Honestly, he's got the best view in the city, really. But I used that photo, and I have, from my time working in town, I would walk everywhere just to occupy my time over lunch or whatever. And I've got a collection of photos that I often reference when I'm creating a new piece.
Right.
Because I don't want to use somebody else's photo and have it be, part of their work, part of my work. I want it to be all my work. So I will go and I will photograph myself to have my reference images.
Right.
So
you do that.
Yep.
And then I'm assuming they have that print. They get that print because you did it or something like that, or while you're doing the paint.
So the painting was purchased by a woman who works at the Legacy over here,
Okay.
by Stratford. I can't remember the exact location, but the one with the big fountain.
Right. The
So-
Legacy. It's right behind Red Lobster.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she bought that canvas,
Wow.
and I can't remember her name,
Okay.
and I don't know if she still has it, but it was a huge canvas.
Okay.
It's floating around somewhere.
Right. And then you start going around town and seeing different things. So you do the Shell Station next.
Yep, the Shell Station is just iconic for Winston.
Right.
I mean, we have so many, honestly, iconic structures in town and things in town. I did the Shell Station. I did the Silver Moon Saloon about that time because it still had the awning.
Right.
What else did I do? I did the
Teapot.
Moravian Love Feast candle coffee pot.
That's true.
Coffee pot.
Darn it.
Moravian coffee.
It's coffee. I'm sorry.
I did the coffee pot. And, that was easy. I'd basically already done it, so I just did it again.
Right.
My friend John Armbruster owns the original canvas of that piece. And then I got a whole digital setup. Like, I've got a digital drawing pad where it's like a secondary computer screen, so I can see my computer screen as well as on my laptop, and I can draw on it with this special stylus, and it just immediately digitizes everything, which is super convenient because then I can take that piece and I can turn it into a print, or I can turn it into a sticker, and there it is. It's already done.
So and here's your sticker. So I'm assuming I know the artist of this sticker, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So you've got your sticker here, and so then you've got your handle on there, and basically, you're digitizing it, and then that can be a print in my office, that can be a sticker, et cetera, and stuff like that. And then that's where hey, I used to be a storekeeper. Why would I not make a store?
Right. It's basically turning into a store.
Okay. And so to find you, is it That Blonde Girl Vikki? If I go there, is there a website for the store specifically?
There is a specific store URL, but you can get there just by going to thatblondegirlvikki.com.
Right.
There's a banner at the top. It'll say shop. You just click that.
Okay. And how has that been doing for you?
Really good, actually. I got lucky and I got a artist pandemic assistance grant from the North Carolina Arts Council and Winston-Salem Arts Council. So they paid basically for me to start a .com and to expand my shop.
That's
they
awesome.
gave me this huge opportunity, which has really assisted me this year.
All right. And so then now you're doing your art, you're selling your art, and then you like to do things around the community with your art. For instance, what is it, the Ardmore Art Walk, you've done that, right? And that's coming up November the 5th through the 22nd, and you've submitted to that to be considered to be in that.
Yes.
Okay. And of course you were last year, right?
I was.
With this piece.
I think the last two Ardmore Art
Look at
Walks
that.
I've been in.
Got the piece right there.
That's one of my gothy little prints.
Right.
That's kind of where my interest lies, but, outside of Winston. I
Right.
like to do the skulls and the weird things. And
Does this go back to the black crayon?
probably.
Yeah. So you want to tell everybody about the black crayon?
It's just, I just like the contrast.
Right.
Honestly, that's what it boils down to, because I figured it out when I was doing photography in high school, because I worked for our local paper doing sports photography. My favorites were the black and white photos.
Always black and white.
But my favorite photographer is Ansel Adams.
You're kidding
The
me.
high contrast,
Amazing.
the perfect grays and whites and blacks. And there's something about that, but recently that's kind of branched into monochromatics. Like you can take a black, white, and gray image and overlay a color, and instantly it just becomes this amazing color monochromatic print.
Right.
So I'm kind of branching into that.
So, I guess with me, I think the love of Winston-Salem. So now we've got to start talking about that. So you've been here like what, 15, 20 years now?
It's pushing 15.
Right.
Definitely not 20 yet.
So you're walking, and you see a bus. It's an abandoned bus, right?
Yeah.
All right, and I know exactly where you were because I've driven by there.
You're
it's
right.
like, why is this bus in the middle of this lot?
Yeah.
And
it stands out like a sore thumb.
Right.
It's a fantastic looking bus.
Right. So tell me about so you decide you're going to draw this one day?
Yeah, so I had vaguely known about the Safe Bus Company because, Fam Brownlee's always on Facebook
Right.
making historical Winston-Salem posts. I love him. He's fantastic. I appreciate that he does
He's
this
going to be
footwork.
on the show. I'm shaking him down, so I might need your help for this because I've been
Okay.
asking, and he's really busy.
Well, I've never actually made contact with him, so I
Okay.
can't be much help.
I'm like, hey, fam, do you want to do the show? Yeah, hey, fam, you want to do the show? Just but I mean, I'm afraid that this medium cannot contain him because he just knows so much.
It's a possibility, and you may just have to have an extended episode for him.
Yeah, or volumes.
He knows so much, and I've got some other friends in town that know so much of the town's history.
This one knows a little bit too, Heather.
Oh,
Yeah, so we need to get her on.
cool.
Yeah, she's actually her stepdad's a friend of mine. So,
Well, that's a neat looking book. I haven't seen that before.
well, we'll have to get that down there in a minute.
Yeah.
Let's look at that.
Where were we?
You were telling me about FAM and the Safe Bus Company.
Okay. So I think I had seen FAM repost a newspaper article with photos of the original company founders of the Safe Bus Company. And I had read that, but I kept driving by this bus and I wasn't really putting two and two together, so I pulled off one day, or I happened to be at Winston Junction and I kind of walked over and I took pictures of it and I was like, this is really cool. And then I started looking into it harder when I was looking for things to sketch from town, and I called the Transportation Museum. And I said, what do you know about this bus? And the guy was like, well, honestly, I don't know a lot about the bus, in terms of, the history of the vehicle. He said, we had one here for a while. We've shipped it off someplace else. I don't know where the material is right now. And I said, that's fine. I just wanted to call on the off chance you knew something. So, I do like to do my footwork with things like this. So I got enough information and put it in the content of my post when I posted the art piece.
Right.
Because I was like, there's a lot of people that don't know this because they're not paying attention. They see a wall of text on Facebook or whatever and they're like, well, I don't want to read that.
Right.
And I said, well, I've got enough people on Instagram. Maybe they'll read this. So I made a post trying to educate people and put the art piece with it. And then the city did the call for bus stop art. And I submitted the art piece that I told you about from the live painting.
Right.
Because I had redone that digitally and recolored it, and it looks pretty cool now. I submitted that. And then they emailed me, and they're like, would you do the Safe Bus? And I was like, I guess. I mean, if you're going to shop my Instagram, yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm just happy to be included. So I took that and reworked it and digitized it for the bus stop, and now it's in front of the Transportation Authority offices.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And so for people that don't know, tell them a little bit about what you learned about the Safe Bus Company.
So it was the first all-inclusive bus company in town that wasn't like, white people have to sit here, black people have to sit here, because we did deal with that for a long time. And Safe Bus Company was just like, you need a ride, get on.
Right.
But we're not, making any special accommodations for any of you based
People are
on
people. Yeah.
who you are.
Right.
So I just thought that was cool.
That is cool, and it's neat, and it's it's part of our history of people starting to realize that the things of the past were wrong.
Yeah.
And so then you as you continue through your art, now we're at the point where you're starting to do pieces for people, and investigate and learn more about Winston-Salem. So but you're also involved and you want people to know more about Winston and things like that. Just kind of what our goal is. What are some of the things that you've started to learn, or some stories that you have that, you've worked on a piece and it's been like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know this about Winston, or things like that?
There is so much.
It's crazy.
So basically my art is just a progression of knowledge of Winston-Salem for me. Like, when I start to do a piece, I will research it. I will add to my knowledge of what, exactly this piece is. Like, I'm going to do a vehicle, a Winston-Salem iconic vehicle spat. That is my next thing on my list to do. So, like, I'm going to do the Sunshine vehicle.
Right.
I'm sure you've seen that at the corner of MLK and Trade parked there. I want to do that because it's a unique vehicle.
Right.
I don't know anything about it. I just know it looks really interesting. So when I start to get into that, I will look at it, take some reference photos, try to figure out what make and model it is. I might reach out to Sunshine and be like, how did you get this thing? And just do that. And then what else is on the list? The Boho Depot vehicle, which is a VW bus. It's adorable. Right. There are some other things that I'll figure out later on. But
Streetcar?
Streetcar. Could do a streetcar.
Let's get the book down. We'll take a break, and when we come back, I'll let you see this thing. I cannot believe you haven't seen that yet.
No, I haven't.
We'll be right back with more Camel City Chat. Welcome back. I am here with Vikki Vassar, and of course, before we get too much further, I'm going to do it now, Stabler, so you don't interrupt me. And he always starts doing these. But you're somewhat familiar with Smitty's Notes. You've heard of that?
Yes, I am.
Just kidding. Yeah, no, everyone knows.
Yeah, that
so
was my
25
first.
years. Is that not your first exposure to how to get out in Winston-Salem?
Yeah.
So everybody go, make sure you check out Smitty's Notes. He sponsors our podcast, great guy, and congratulations on 25 years, Jeff. Make sure you watch out on some of the stuff they're doing, because they're starting to do some of the things like getting people back together and things like that. Which I remember I used to go to this thing called Dinner with Smitty Plus 8 or whatever, and so you'd get to go and he'd have a guest. And it was really neat. So he's starting to do some of that stuff back too.
Okay.
So you like the book, don't you?
I do like the book.
All right, so I'm gonna call Michelle and see if they've got any more of those.
It's fantastic.
It's very reasonably priced. And I actually gave one to my 97-year-old dad. And he had it, and he started just like read every other page and stuff like that. So
I've got those littler books.
Right.
Molly Grogan.
They're the ones that they like sell at like Old Salem and stuff like that.
So I bought those.
Yep.
I wanted to look and see who published this. So.
I may have. I'll tell you what. I may have something in the drawer behind us when we leave. I've got CDs that have like the walks, kids walks, and African American walk and stuff like that are CDs that have history of this that the visitor center did here.
Awesome.
So I'll see if I've got those. You can borrow them and then get them back to me.
Yeah,
all right?
for sure.
All right. So the whole reason why you're here is, to me, is the love of Winston-Salem. So love comes with involvement.
Yeah.
And so we are the city of arts and innovation. And so I'm setting you up for my question, which is the one that I really want to hear is, obviously you want to make money doing this because it's augmenting the income of your family.
Right.
But it's also, you want to share your love with the town and stuff like that. So the question is how do people get to where you and I are with being involved and loving and all this stuff? Because you're telling me during the break you got James's picture up, on the wall, because some of that stuff started with Mary, from Mary's, of course, and how she, invested in art and things like that. So what do we need to do to continue to be the city of arts and innovation?
So I just want to clarify, I don't have a photo of James Douglas on my wall at home, but
No,
it's on the corner of 6th and Trade Street. I don't want people to think we're that weird. And we're a little weird, but we're not that weird.
But your husband would accept. I'm just kidding.
He would.
Yeah.
I think I have a
you
photo.
Have it's on a wall downtown, and it overlooks the Silver Moon. And, but, I often have guests say, well, yeah, they say we're the city of arts and innovation, but we're not really the city of arts and innovation. And you're a person that's very involved in the arts, and it's like, we are the city of arts and innovation. So what do we need to do as a community to continue to support that and raise that up?
I think there's a push and pull. I think everybody is right. I think sometimes we kind of deviate from, really doing our best with local artists and the art community, but then somebody will complain and we'll be like, oh yeah, maybe they have a good suggestion in here. There seemed to be a lot of kerfluffle when they pulled a artist to do the Otter Water Tower.
Right.
I do remember that, and they were kind of right. We do have local artists, but honestly, that's pretty freaking cool. Otter.
It won that national thing. You saw that, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I mean, I've had Tommy Priest on, and Tommy's talked about arts, and then we had David Dahlholt on, and he helped do the tree down at Milton Roads and things like that. So I mean, we've got this beautiful art, and we've got people that are supporting it. How do people get
community in Winston, I think, is always the starting point. If you are new in town, you have to get involved in the community. If it's just picking a regular brunch spot, if it is picking a regular coffee shop, that's how you get out to meet people.
It's that simple, but people don't get it.
It's that simple.
Yeah, I mean, I go to the same dry cleaners, okay? The lady's telling me today, she goes, yeah, I tell my boys that I have 3 children. And I'm like, you've told me that a couple times. Why do you keep telling me? She goes, well, I tell them that. And I said, well, what do they think about that? Because, I mean, you got your son, your son-in-law, and then you're saying that I'm one of your sons. And she goes, well, I tell them you treat me nicer than they do. And I mean, but Judy's just awesome.
Yeah.
I just go in and I say hey to her all the time. I try and give her a hug. Of course, COVID, you don't get to give hugs anymore. But, I mean, it's, you walk in the door and, Norm. I mean, that's what you want.
Yeah, but you want people to recognize you.
And when real estate side of things, when we have someone that buy a house, what we do is we make a contribution to the Ron McDonald House in their name.
Awesome.
Because what happens is then they get an email or a letter from them. They're on a mailing list. So you've just moved to town and you've got a charity that's reaching out to you.
Right.
So, and it's not all about just giving money. It's like this is coming up or that's coming up or...
So I remember this discussion I had with somebody years ago, and they were like, why is Winston so different? Because they had gone to different towns in North Carolina, and they were like, the community in Winston is just different. It's like the world's biggest small town.
Right.
And we got to, talking about it more, and we kind of said, well, maybe it's because they got Moravian roots. Everybody is supposed to know each other.
Right.
They're all fostering this sense of community and helping each other when they need help, and there may be some truth to that or a lot of truth to that.
It is weird. I mean, we have a large city and it's like, I got the mayor's cell phone number. I call him and he'll pick up or call and give me a grief and call me back and stuff like that. I reach out and ask people to do the show and they're like, absolutely. Some have heard about it, some have not.
Yeah.
But once they do it, then they've heard about it and they enjoy it and they have fun with it. I mean, you and I have been talking about this for several months and it's just been,
a while.
It's been a while. And now that I got that great app that I can send out and say, all right, well, first of all, the linchpin to it is a 16-year-old over there. So, I got to have him here because he's got to videotape it and do it. Now, I've videotaped a couple of them and then send it to him to edit. But, it's getting it on everyone's calendar. Mm-hmm. And once it happens, and we're able to share and learn about it. I mean, now, hopefully, someone's going to go, hey, that blind girl, Vicki, I enjoyed what she was talking about. I want to see what kind of artwork she does.
Yeah.
Now, your artwork is impressionistic in a sense, is from some German influences.
Yeah.
I can read. Have you noticed that?
I love it.
It's kind of scary. And so, what's it like to have someone pick up your shirt, now a T-shirt with your stuff on it? How cool is that?
I love it, honestly. I love to see my stuff out in the wild. I love to see a car go by and there's one of my stickers, and I'm constantly amazed that people like this stuff at all, honestly. Because I look at it sometimes and I'm like, I haven't improved much since I was 5.
But, okay, so you touched on that.
Yeah.
It's not always, art and beauty are in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah.
So some people may look at your stuff and say, well, I can draw that, but you didn't. And the other thing is it comes from here. Mm-hmm. And that's what's so special about your art is, I mean, if someone takes some time and sat down and they put a picture down and they traced it or whatever, they might be able to do a defined better of the shell, but it's not the same.
It's
Yours
not.
is love, appreciation, fondness.
Yeah, but here's where we kind of stem into my belief that they may do it better and differently, and I'll probably tell them they did it better. But that's also because I firmly believe that every human is creative, every human is an artist. It's just whether or not they've found the medium that works for them.
It's taken me 54 years to find a medium that works for me.
This is your medium?
Nope.
Nope.
I'm starting to do a little bit of woodworking, and I'm okay at it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm doing fairly decent with it. It was like last night I got home, and I build houses besides being a realtor.
Oh, wow.
And so I needed 5 set of shutters.
Yeah.
So last night for an hour and a half when we got home at 8 o'clock after the Virginia Creeper Trail, I cut the wood to make the shutters. And so now then today I'm going to, well, probably not today. But I need to route out and all that stuff and go. But I'm learning how to do things, and the putting a hinge on is something I've never done before in my life. And it's. I would argue. I'm arguing with you about how your art is art. I mean, but it is. It's truly.
I know it is.
Yeah, it truly is.
Sometimes I look at it and I'm like, could be better. But I think
Then that truly means you're an artist because it always can be better.
that's the goal
Yeah.
of the artist, is to constantly improve.
Yeah, and I mean, I like it. I mean, now, I'm not going to put this in my room, but I appreciate it and I like it, and what does it say and stuff like that. I can do all that stuff with this.
Yeah.
I do like it. I mean, it's cool. That'd be an awesome sticker.
It doesn't fit in everybody's house.
Right. Yeah. But the murals of Winston and this. I mean, the Safe Bus Company would be the coolest T-shirt in the world.
Yeah.
And that's where you're getting it out there, and then there's a question that's asked, and once that question's asked is, oh, well, you don't know what this is? Well, I don't, and then
Yep.
on to the next thing.
Yep.
So we ask a question then that people don't always like for me to ask, and that's, what do you want to be remembered for?
Hopefully helping other artists. I'm starting to do kind of classes. Like, I'm trying to teach people what I know that they might be struggling with. Like, I have a sign-up form right now for Instagram Reels class, and I'm trying to set that up in such a way that I can help these other artists figure out this new digital platform that has been made that everybody's on, and help them get exposed a little better in the digital community, because that's where we all learn where everything is mostly anymore. I mean, sometimes we'll go out and see a billboard or we'll see a t-shirt, but the large amount of our knowledge consumption comes from the internet these days, I think.
Now, what do you think got you the number of followers you got?
I worked my butt off.
Right.
I also work with places, we talked about Smitty's Notes, but there's also one out now called Best of Winston.
Right.
So
Been on the show.
I worked with them.
Right.
Love them. I've also worked with Winston Wandering. It's finding all these other local people who do have a wide range of followers. And Instagram, the way it works now is you want to tag other people in your posts if you can. So collaborating with all these other artists and all these other businesses really does grow your amount of followers.
And Anne's awesome.
Yeah,
Love
she
Anne.
is fantastic.
We had her on the show. I want her mom on the show, but she won't. I've asked her mom point blank. Her mom owns Southern Home and Kitchen.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I just think I want to go there. I want to sit down. I want to make a meal, talk to her about it, and all that kind of stuff. Because if you've not been to Southern Home and Kitchen, it's a great store. And so on. But had Ann on, and then of course we've had Triad Moms on Maine has been on.
I don't have a connection with them yet, but I am aware of them.
We can help you out on that too. Actually, one of the ladies is married to a family that I went to high school with, and so we've had a chance to meet through them. But Rachel's really nice, and we can get you guys connected. But that's the other thing is everyone always wants to, it's like, if someone wants to meet somebody, someone knows someone that knows that person. It's like, oh, sure, I'll introduce you.
Yeah.
It's not like, I only have had, I've had one person's been the hardest guest to get. They're going to be, on the show, and that was kind of weird because I had a sitting U.S. Senator on the show, and that was just a phone call. Hey, can you do it? Yeah, what time? That type of thing. And then the other is I've got one person that I really want to get, or someone from that family, and they've been kind of hard to get. So if anybody knows the, oh my gosh, the Garners. I love Texas Pete. If anyone knows Texas Pete, this is my plea. Tell them they need to have someone on Camel City Chat. Just going around, just there's so many cool families around here, and wanting to be remembered for making a difference or connecting or things like that is what we all strive for.
Well, I've married into a historical Winston-Salem family, the Lamb family.
Right.
So my husband, Mark Lamb, runs Metamorphosis.
I was going to ask you to talk about what's Metamorphosis.
So that is a local metal fabrication shop with kind of an emphasis on art. They do structural things, displays for shops and stuff on occasion, signs and that sort of thing. But we have been making the new sculpture that's going in at 4th and Spruce.
Right.
So that's pretty much done. If you go to the Metamorphosis Instagram, you can see all the videos I've taken of it and assembled, and you can watch its progress. As we went through it, we pulled in a local blacksmith, Paul Spainhour. This is all Mona King's design.
Right.
So she pulls in Paul Spainhour. He shadows at our shop, moves his equipment in for like 2 weeks, and hand hammers all of the leaves that go on this sculpture. And we all saw, the 2D image that came out on Facebook that the city released. But when you see the piece in person, it's fantastic.
So so Stabler keeps giving me fingers here of how much time we got left. All right, so you're going to share with us that so people can go there. But if I want to learn about art in Winston, where do I go? Because I know I've got my artist bus shelter program here, and so I can go on the city of Winston-Salem's website and see. Look at that.
You can go there.
Right. But if I want to learn about Winston, is there a tour? Is there like a map of? I think I'm.
You're ranching. You know where you're going.
Yeah.
So Mark, my friend John Armbruster, who works for Roush Racing out in Charlotte, myself have done a Google Maps integrated logging of all of the artistic murals that we can possibly find in Winston. There are photos, there are logs of the artist.
And how do we get access to that?
Thatblondegirlvicky.com. You click on WSNC Mural Project and you can find it.
Holy cow. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Stabler, are you getting all this stuff? All right. So we want to definitely ask about that because then we can see and then I can click on that and go by and look at something and go, I didn't even know this was here.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can, look at different areas of the map. Click a pin. There's a photo of the mural. You can go to that spot and see the actual thing itself. Some of the murals don't exist anymore, but those are under a completely different bullet category in the map system.
Okay. Cool. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
And thanks for being here.
Well,
I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
I'm going to find out if I can get you another one of those.
Please do.
And let's see what else. We're going to air this on Wednesday, obviously. We've thanked Smitty. I just wish you the best of luck because it's what a change and it's turning into something. So I know you work some with your husband to help out there, but then also, how much has life changed since you left the corporate world to now work on art?
It's
spend time with your kids.
Yeah, it's better.
Yeah.
It's like the stress has shifted. I'm no longer trying to please somebody else. I'm just really trying to please people in my house.
Right.
Which is a lot better.
But harder.
But harder.
With
but
3
better.
boys. Yeah, harder.
Yeah.
So.
Well, 1 girl, 2 boys.
Oh, okay.
The girl's the youngest one.
Okay.
And she is...
She rules the roost?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
She's 10. She's at that age.
Mine's going to turn 8 soon.
Oh, boy.
I'm going to be building a gem mining sluice so that we can have gem mining in our backyard because Mommy and I want to do that and we're blaming it on our daughter.
That works.
Yeah, so.
I like that.
Thanks.
That's fun.
Well, I appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Thanks. And you've just watched another episode of Camel City Chat. We'll be back next week. Thanks.